Discerning Hearts presents How to Pray, a practical guide to the spiritual life by David Torkington. Chapter 6, A Profession of Faith, Professio. 'Twas much that man was made like God before, but that God should be made like man much more. Donne.
The first letter of the memory jog parousia is P for profession. It will always remind us to begin prayer with a profession of faith. I don't mean by reciting some traditional formula of the faith, or even professing belief in every article of the creed, or in every dogma that the Church teaches. There is a time and place for that, but this is a time for something else. Our faith, you see, is not firstly a belief in a body of truths, but in a body full of love that was filled to overflowing on the first Easter day. Ever since the first Pentecost day, God's love has been pouring out of Jesus, our risen Lord, and into all who would freely choose to receive it. At every time and at every moment of the day, or of the night for that matter, to draw them into the fullness of life that is fully embodied in the risen body, sometimes called His mystical body. It is here alone that we are destined to live and move and have our being, and experience something of the ecstatic bliss that Jesus experiences now and to all eternity. This is one more reason why the fish became a symbol of Christians in the early church. They came to see and to understand that the love of God for them was what the sea is for the fish, the living environment outside of which they could not exist. St. Augustine takes this analogy one step further, substituting a living sponge for the fish to show that we are not only surrounded at all times by the love of God, but are penetrated through and through by His all-pervading presence, and at all times. Remember the words of Christ at the Last Supper. Do you not believe that I am in you, and you are in me? Make your home within me, for separated from me, you have no power to do anything. This loving presence is the supernatural environment in which we grow, becoming ever more Christ-like human beings. Although this is the profound truth in which we express our faith at the beginning of prayer, we can rarely experience anything, at least to begin with. Much more often than not, we have to accept in faith what Christ continually experiences and what we would like to experience one day for ourselves. Nevertheless, this is the time to make a profound act of faith in the all-pervading presence of God's love. It is time to pray, too, that it will become more and more real to us, not just while we're at prayer, but throughout the forthcoming day and every day. Gradually, in time, and if we persevere, we will, like St. Paul, come to experience something of the height and the depth, the length and the breadth of God's love that surpasses the understanding. This will not only happen for all eternity in the next life, but even in this life too, as St. John continually reminds us. This is God's gift for those who give without counting the cost, fight without heeding the wounds, and who labor without seeking rewards. As Jesus promised to His disciples, "Come to me, all you who labor and are overburdened, and I will give you rest."
You've been listening to David Torkington and How to Pray, a practical guide to the spiritual life. For more episodes in this series, visit discerninghearts.com, or you can find it in our free Discerning Hearts app or on many other streaming platforms.